My name. I'll uh, I'll quickly introduce ourselves. My name is Rohit. I manage the global accessibility specialist team. I have the rare opportunity to work with organizations across the globe, uh, from multiple markets, multiple time zones, and it always amazes me how everybody thinks so deeply about digital accessibility and accessibility in general. I'm joined by my colleague from the product side, Avik. Avik, if you would like to quickly introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Avik, and I've been with BrowserStack building for accessibility testing in the design and developer space. Excited to share a lot of insights that we have found from customers and some best practices that can help you shift left in your accessibility journey.
Awesome. Great, Avik. Thank you so much. Uh, Great. So let's get started. And here, what you're seeing is a quick agenda for the session ahead. Uh, our agenda is pretty straightforward. We're going to speak about the accessibility debt crisis. We are going to speak about what is shift left when it comes to accessibility. Uh, some phases. Phase one, from a design experience standpoint, a week will kind of give you a quick view of what that looks like and what he's been building, or rather what our customers have been using globally now. On the phase two side, we'll see what that handoff looks like from a developer standpoint, sorry, from a designer standpoint to the developer. And there's also one bonus feature content that we have kept towards the end. So it's quite exciting. Nobody else does this, and we are the only organization globally to do this. So really excited to show that to you. You'll see a poll that would have popped up right now. How is accessibility testing managed within your organization? It's a question we do ask in every accessibility webinar. It just gives us an idea of uh, uh, what what's happening out there. We keep hearing a lot about who handles what about digital accessibility, but would love to know how it's done in your organization. I'll just maybe let the poll float for a couple of seconds. Okay, cool. So let's move ahead. Now, what is the accessibility debt crisis, and what we have understood from organizations globally? Well, every time we do discuss with an organization about their digital accessibility needs, and we usually come in as a tooling partner, right? They want somebody to help them understand how can various tools be get plugged into their software development lifecycle, what can they use, what's happening there. Now, depending on the type of clients we speak to, uh, I mean, most of the time, accessibility is usually, I mean, the checks for accessibility is usually done in the audit side of things. That's usually a manual audit and usually comes in post the software development lifecycle. Uh, and rightly so, because I mean, a lot of these issues can only be detected manually. So I understand, when this would have started out way back, this would have been a natural progression, right? I mean, let the auditors come in, let the audits happen, and all the manual audits come in and give you all this result. But then what happened over the course of years is, and I've been speaking to multiple VPs of engineering, heads of engineering. There's a lot of issues that creep up from that manual audit into the customer sprint cycle within and that kind of blocks them from being that organization that wants to release quite often, being more agile, detecting issues while they are developing. And catching a defect in production isn't just like an engineering headache. It's basically it's actually 30 to 100 times more expensive than catching it in design, right? And that's when we understood that, okay, how can AI enabled tooling help them right now? Because AI is moving at a quite it's moving quite fast, right? We have seen multiple workflows that it's getting embedded into. It's being used a lot, and it is creating a lot of productivity gains across the SDLC. And that's where we understood that can we put a cost to this? And then we started working with our clients to understand, okay, what does this mean? How expensive can it be? And what we realized is that it's actually quite high. So you can see over here a chart, and we kind of started, speaking to organizations of various sizes and nature and industries, and we said that, okay, if you were to detect an accessibility issue in the design phase, what would that cost? If you were to detect this in the development phase, what would that cost? And look at this cost multiplier, right? So it's actually 1x in design versus up to 100x in production. So shifting left actually means that, if you're able to, shifting left means like moving accessibility from a final gate to a shared continuous responsibility. That's what this chart actually implies. It's not saying that, hey, you know what, it's costly, let's move it absolutely left. That's what we're trying to do, or kind of convey here. What I want to say is that accessibility is a responsibility for everybody in the organization, no matter who you are, right? No matter you're from the design stage, no matter you're from the development stage, no matter from the testing or the production, phase. Uh, and it's usually difficult to convey this, or to get that momentum within an organization where you want to kind of get everybody say yes and work with you when it comes to digital accessibility. But usually when you say that you're losing out on cost, or you're saving money, that's what organizations usually tend to listen to. And that's why we just thought of sharing this quick view of what that means, and why we as an organization wanted to help in this particular space. uh, I think our product team did a fairly great job. They came together, and the market has actually validated that quite a lot. We are seeing clients from various industries on various magnitude from a sizing standpoint come and onboard us as a tooling partner. And we have there's a lot of exciting stories that I would like to share on that front. Uh, but of course, there's all talk that you don't want to listen. Maybe you want to listen to more a week. Speaking about what we do. And just before I kind of hand it over to him, I just want to reiterate what shift left accessibility testing are we going to speak about, or what we want to showcase, right? We're speaking about how you can be proactive compared to being reactive. We're speaking about how you can have a continuous governance in place where everybody in your organization, no matter what stage of the SDLC you're based out of, you have a say. You're able to use a tool, or you're able to make an impact and make your experiences more accessible to the world, which is the most important thing, right? Everybody has the right to access these technologies, and rightly so. uh, and what does the role of AI mean in today's accessibility, in the accessibility tooling in the software development lifecycle? Can you use AI in the linting process and the design process with the superior image processing capabilities that it has? What does that mean? So without further ado, I'll kind of hand over to our lead of product, Avik, who himself has been in the process of developing these tools from the last few years. I think the phase one, what we would like, Avik to cover would be the designer experience and what that means with BrowserStack, and how AI is being used in that space. Over to you, Avik.
Sure, Rohit. Thank you so much. So, like Rohit mentioned, the rising costs of resolving design or resolving accessibility issues, right? Later you go in the SDLC. So, if you with BrowserStack, we provide you a design toolkit that helps you address like 40% of these issues right at the design stage. That's what we can achieve. But with your manual efforts, it's said that even designers can address up to 60 or 70% of accessibility issues already, and they can account for it in their designs and as part of their developer handoff. Right. So we have done some case studies with customers where we have observed that the savings are massive when you do some when you put in accessibility processes at the design stage, right? And you have big returns by shifting left. For example, the most familiar check that designers would do is the color contrast check, right? But there's so much else that you could be doing. I'm gonna touch on upon a lot of it in my demo, but some examples would be that are you designing for responsiveness? Are you annotating the visual hierarchy by calling out your headings on your designs, calling out your focus order, keyboard orders on your designs? Are you making it easier for your developers to consume your designs, right? By making detailed specs for accessibility. All of those things are BrowserStack is what BrowserStack is going to help you with. And with that, I'll quickly jump to the demo of the Figma plugin that will help you achieve this. Right. So on my screen are some Figma designs that I'm going to show you how you can test for accessibility. And using the BrowserStack tool, you can test layouts like this, which are web layouts or mobile layouts, or you can even test for your components, which is even one step before designing layouts, right? You would have your component library or your design system with a component set like this with all its variants, and you would want to test from accessibility right from this stage. So you can achieve all of that from the plugin. All you have to do is go to the marketplace, Figma marketplace, search for BrowserStack Design Toolkit, right? So if you see here, there are two parts of it. One is the layout scanner and the other is the component scanner, right? Let me show you an example of how you would scan and audit layouts like this, right? You would have, say, a user journey that you want to scan. I would scan, say, I'm just scanning 2 frames, for example, and I'll run layout scanner on this. Right off the bat, you would choose what mode of checks you want to do based on your target device, right? And if you're doing website, we will pull the WCAG guidelines and check for these. So this is an extensive list of checks that you as a designer can do. Some of these are automated checks and some of these are designed to create handoffs for developers, right? So just look at the amount of checks here, text contrast or non-text contrast, creating headings, annotating landmarks, writing image alt text, putting some ARIA labels, designing for responsiveness, right? So we're gonna see some of these things in action right now. If you do choose mobile apps, the criteria slightly changes, and we would also pull in guidelines from Apple and Android guidelines so that you when you deploy your app to an app store, you do not get flagged for accessibility, right? I'm going to show using an example of website. Right. So once you scan n number of frames, you would see here that you get a summary of all the issues here, the number of accessibility issues found, and if you are missing any annotations that help you create developer handoffs, it will also call it out here. There's also a quick fix option. We'll look at that. But look at the issues that are reported here. First would be something like a text contrast that reports where your text layers are failing, right? And it will give you suggestions pulled from your design library on how to pass these, what color to apply so that these text layers pass the contrast. So it'll tell you that if you want to achieve the WCG AA criteria, you need this level of contrast, but currently you're failing because you are at a lower level. Right? But you can resolve this using applying some color that makes you compliant, right? So very helpfully, it bunches together different issues that are all similar in nature, right? If you see here, it has grouped together both of these text layers that have the exact same issue. So you need not solve for them one by one. You can just go ahead and fix them all at once, right? If you want to solve all the contrast issues at once, you can go ahead and use our one-click fix functionality. You can say that across these 2 frames, fix all my contrast issues, right? So you'll just go ahead and click on fix and it has fixed all of these issues for you. So it'll show you what was the previous contrast ratio and where you are now. And if you are not agreeing with any of the colors that it has applied, you can still go ahead and undo it. Right? So that's a very quick one-click fix that you can use to solve certain kinds of issues. I'll talk about the others as well. Uh, some other issues that it highlights is on non-text layers, right? So text contrast is easy to catch, but when you have icon-only buttons which are not visible against the background or input fields that are not visible, it will also highlight those things, right? So that you can fix those. And then it will highlight target size as well. So suppose you need your interactive elements on your design should have a sufficient sizing so that anyone who has some motor issues can easily click on them, or someone who is relying on uh, any external device can easily click on them, or on a mobile, this is even more relevant, right? So you can this will tell you your interactive elements and whether their sizing and spacing from each other is sufficient. Right? So you can see it has highlighted a lot of the interactive elements on the page, and you can just go through them and see if they match the WCAG criteria, right? So those are the automated checks that you have. Next is the next set of things is the handoffs that you would create for your developers. Say, for example, you would want to call out what are the headings on the page, right? What are the correct levels of the heading as well. So the plugin very helpfully suggests you that, hey, there are two contenders for headings on this page. Why don't you mark them up? So I'll just go to these and put a markup here. And if you see here, it puts these annotations on the design that your developers can come and refer to when they're consuming these designs. Similarly, you would have uh, you would have to call out something like the focus order on the screen. How, hey, if I'm navigating through the keyboard, what should be the order? So as a designer, you would have had to draw some arrows or manually explain it to someone. Using this plugin, it's very simple. You just select all of the interactive elements on your design in any order that you want. Notice that I am doing it in a random order and say that these are my interactive elements. Now I want to put a focus order to them. Just click on add focus order. If you see here, the plugin very intelligently assigns a meaningful sequence of this focus order. It goes from the top header to the sidebar to the main content, right? And if you want to add more information to each of these elements, you can go ahead and do this. Say, for example, this is a focusable element, but what should it be call out when a screen reader is reading this? Or what should be the behavior? Something like, say, you want to say this. You want to leave a developer note like this, right? And you want to say that hey, this is a link and there should be some ARIA label here, right? All of this information you can capture for the elements on your screen here. And what happens is this gets added to a handoff sheet right beside your design, right? So this is the kind of handoffs that you can create for your designs, and your Figma becomes a single source of truth for accessibility. So I won't go through all of these features, but let me quickly go to the component scanner bit, how you can scan your components. So assume you have a component set like this. You can go to component scanner and choose your component and scan it. What this does is it does an extensive check for what is needed to make a button accessible, right? So these are all the guidelines that if you follow, your buttons will become accessible and you could use them in your layouts, right? Like for example, text contrast issues will be highlighted here. Then any non-text contrast issues, like if your button backgrounds are light enough, it will highlight those things. Your sizing issues, will be called out here. If your target sizing is too small, it'll be called out. Then you have some guidelines that you would need to take care of yourself, like how to treat focusable states or how to treat disabled states, right? It will highlight the disabled states for you, and you have to take care of these instructions. Once you have done all of this as a designer, it very helpfully puts a handoff note as well for the developers. So the developers can come here, and when they would know how to code these buttons or any component when they're creating the component library. Right? So that's the Figma plugin, where as a designer, you can go and audit your designs. But if you want a more continuous kind sort of check that you want as a design leader, you want to keep monitoring your files, we have another solution for you, which is the design scanner. Basically, you have a dashboard where you can add a Figma file link, and any pages, any frames in that file can be continuously scanned at a set frequency of your choice, right? You can scan it weekly, monthly, or daily. And what happens is basically it will give you a daily or a weekly report of all the issues that it has found in that page. Let me show you an example. right? So it'll tell you if what are the main issues in your file, right? What is the history of issues in your file? How many frames are detected in your file and how many of them are accessibility compliant? How many of them are missing annotations, right? It'll also show you a preview of your file and you can go into more detail. Which checks are passing, which checks have already failed. It'll show you an example of issues that have failed here. Let me show you a more better example here. For example, you can directly see from the dashboard what issues have been failing on your designs, right? And if any components are there in your file, which are those components and how many outstanding issues are there. Yeah. So that's the entire suite of design tools for offered by BrowserStack. So let me know if any questions in the chat.
Thank you, Avi. Thank you. I think in most of the conversations that we have had a week with customers, customers do tell us that you know uh, designers do care about digital accessibility a lot. And not saying that others in the SDLC don't, but they usually do. But that handoff from the designer to the developer uh, is sometimes a smooth process when it comes to accessibility. Sometimes it's not. So it's quite mixed from what we have seen across the organization. But in your experience, how important is that? How smooth should that handoff be?
I mean, that's the most overlooked part of the handoff. Usually, handoffs are scattered across different assets like Jira tickets, Confluence documents, or the Figma design itself. So, our aim is to make Figma as a single source of truth so that there is less back and forth between teams and maximum clarity.
Got it. Got it. Thanks for sharing that, Avi. And I think the phase two is again vitally more important, right? Because now, of course, these designs have come to the development team, and now they have to go and create an accessible screen, right, or an accessible front end based on what the design guidance is. But something that's really overlooked and something that people don't speak about much is that we always talk about accessibility issues being detected on the QA side, so much heavy lifting being done there, and there's so much happening on that side, right? Uh, but all these Jira tickets or all these tickets that get raised, the voice of customer, everything that comes, at the end of the day, the developer has to, sit down and solve it. Uh, and of course, there are folks who deeply care about it, who do go ahead and solve it. But then they're kind of, for lack of a better word, you know, uh, it's like a sandwich, right? They get issues from design. I mean, they get guidance from design on accessibility, and they also have all these issues coming from production, or customers, and then there are variations of these issues. So, how important is the developer experience when it comes to accessibility, or fixing accessibility issues or detecting it, and how vital is it for an organization to, give that developer the tooling to do that?
Absolutely, Rohit. If we can move to the next slide, I can touch upon some of the points that we are helping developers do. So, as developers are writing code, we help them detect issues right at the moment when they're writing code so that it's not discovered during dev testing or during QA testing, right? That's an important part of it, getting the real-time feedback. And it's also important that you teach developers how to remediate the issues because it's not just enough to detect the issue. You have to fix the issue in the correct way. So that's where we come in with our AI powered code fixes as well that help you solve issues correctly. Uh, we at BrowserStack have been developing this. Previous slide, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have been developing this accessibility dev tools, which is a suite of tools, and it provides coverage across 15 WCAG success criteria, right? So that you can detect maximum issues at the development stage itself and keeping very less issues for QA stage, right? And we have coverage across different types of frameworks. So whether you're a web developer or a mobile developer, whether you're working in VS Code, IntelliJ, or Android Studio or Xcode, we provide a linter or a CLI tool wherever you are to fix accessibility issues. So with that, I will talk less and jump right into a demo of how the tool works. Uh, right. Rohit, if I can share. Yeah, thank you. Right. So if I'll show an example in VS Code, but this is applicable to any IDE that you're working in. If you go to the marketplace, you can search for accessibility dev tools, and this is the tool that you have to install and just sign up, and it's ready to use. So if you're working in any of our supported frameworks, for the linter like React Native, uh, XML, Swift, the issue detection will start working in immediately, right? So if when you're writing code in your files, the linter will detect issues. It will show you a very helpful accessibility description of what rule you have violated, how to fix the issues, and if you're using any AI agent in your IDE, like a Copilot or a Klein, right? So we integrate with that as well, which is used to provide the AI-powered fixes. For example, if I go to fix this issue, you just have to click on fix. Uh, and after that, the AI will take into context the issue that we have detected and the rule that is violated, and it will give you a suggestion that will help you become accessible, right? So this is how you go and just click on fix, and that's how you will fix this. You get the AI powered fixes, right? Of course, you need a subscription to an LLM for this to work, and you need to have GitHub Copilot installed. Then you can get the full power of this linter. So a few other things that this linter covers is if you're using a component library or an internal components, a lot of open source linters would not be able to work on such internal components because it is not able to identify the structure of that component, right? We help you do that. So if you have a custom component, say you call images as custom image in your component library, we can help you detect that. So you just need to set up a config file with a mapping of your custom component to a standard component, map your properties. This is just a one-time process that you need to do once for your company and propagate it to your developers. And after that, even your custom components are covered, right? So we have heard from a lot of customers that, standard HTML components are covered or React is covered, but hey, how do I get it to work on my design system? So this is solving for that. So uh, this is how you capture in detect issues in VS Code. Uh, Another example that I could show you is how to detect issues in Xcode. So if you are, say, a native iOS developer, we are present in Xcode as well. You have to just introduce a simple script into your Xcode project. You have to introduce a dependency on accessibility dev tools from BrowserStack. And after that, anytime you build a project in Xcode, uh, as with all great demos, this happens. So anyway, we are present in Xcode as well, and this also helps you detect accessibility issues, very much like the VS Code extension that I just showed you. So over to you, Rohit. We have another product that I would like to slightly talk about here.
Sure, sure. Awake, sure. I think uh, the prayer to the demo gods failed today, but no worries. I think we can maybe showcase something or send some videos about that. But let me just share my screen and speak about what we have done on the. I mean, you can see that a lot of our tooling is like AI powered. The Figma plugin has aspects like contextual image understanding, suggesting alternative text that are weak said, from an AI standpoint. So we are utilizing these in our workflows quite a lot. Uh, on the developer side, also we have been using AI a lot, and you can see it on the linting side of things. Uh, but something really interesting came up, and our clients on the developer side said that, hey, can I use MCP? Can I uh, can I have everything happening within the IDE itself? And that's where the idea of Test Companion came up. And I'm glad to convey that Avik is one of the leaders working in that space and building it out for us. Avik, would you like to share like how clients have been using our Test Companion AI agent with context to accessibility and what are the advantages of this? You know.
Sure. So this test companion AI agent is basically helping you do your dev testing without leaving your IDE. It's a natural language AI agent that you just give it a command, say that, hey, start up my local web page and find all accessibility issues in my checkout flow, right? So we have seen e-commerce clients do that where their developers are responsible for a certain flow in the app, and you can test. You need not write a test for that entire flow. You can just give it a natural command that test my checkout flow or test my homepage only. And what this AI agent does is it goes through the entire flow on its own, detects accessibility issues through the entire flow, reports back to your IDE, and also helps you fix those issues using AI. Using AI. Right. So if you're interested in this, if what I said is sounding interesting, there's a poll coming up on your screen. Just express your interest there, and our experts will reach out to you and they'll help you understand the product.
Awesome. Great. I think we have a lot of attendees here, and we have a lot of of our colleagues from our customer engineering team. Uh, they're great folks who have been helping clients across the world, with this. They're on this call, so in case you want to have a breakout session with them, we are happy to facilitate that. We have colleagues on the call who can help you with that. Uh, awesome. So moving on, I think there is there's something more that we wanted to show you, right? I think we spoke about uh, we spoke about a lot of workflows within the design team. We spoke about how it's AI powered and how that helps these days. And then there is, the dev section where we showed you how the developer can, do everything within the IDE, have a lovely handoff document from the design side at the same time, also, have a view. But we said that, how can we utilize this massive infrastructure that BrowserStack, has created with these 19 data centers spread across the globe? How can we leverage that? And of course, we do not think from that perspective, but we thought more about this when our clients kept saying that, hey, you know what? We love using your screen readers. Is there a way to automate it, right? And I would say that in the tech side of things, screen reader automation testing is something that uh, uh, this sounds amazing, right? Hey, can I automate this? Because that we have had conversations with multiple developers across the world, and they said that, hey, Rohit, we received so many tickets saying that we have variations in the output of screen readers when we switch from a certain version of JAWS or a certain version of NVDA or VoiceOver or TalkBack. Can we automatically test this within our CI/CD, right? And that's when our product got working on it, and we have done great innovation in that. And I'm just so happy to say that we are the only company globally that is able to deliver that has delivered this. We have this feature wherein you can do screen reader automation testing with us. And we have our colleague Sujay, who's on this call, who would showcase this particular quick view. And this is what the bonus feature is, right? This is what we wanted to show you. Essentially, what this particular feature does is, if you're already a BrowserStack customer, you just add one line of code, and it does automation testing for accessibility, and also takes care of the screen reader automation testing. It automatically captures the screen reader spoken output. And please note, we only use real devices in our data centers, so this is actual output that the devices are giving. And it also takes into consideration other screen reader insights during your functional test, and takes all of this and does a lovely end-to-end test in your existing workflow, no matter what you're using, what your flavor is, Playwright, Cypress, Selenium. We support all of them. And then it also goes one step further and actually validates whether the screen reader interaction using gestures like double tap to activate a button, stuff like that is working well or not. Uh, I don't want to talk more about. Maybe we want to show and tell. So I'll hand it over to Sujay.
Yeah, thanks, Rohit, for the wonderful introduction. I'll just quickly share my screen. Team, as Rohit has mentioned, screen reader is one of the major aspect from an accessibility standpoint. You would need to make sure whether your websites or mobile apps are configured correctly as part of screen reader. All the text that is present within your mobile or web application is appearing correctly and is adhering to the screen reader standards that are there. Manually doing that checks is also something that we support. So you can go into our live app live product and do screen reader testing manually. But as for any manual testing aspect, be it functional, be it visual, or be it for accessibility, it is tedious. There's a possibility that you would miss something out, and unfortunately, it's not scalable. So that's where automation comes into picture, and that's what we will be incorporating for having our screen reader accessibility checks automated as well. From an integration standpoint, we have made it as seamless as possible. So, what you would want to have is just your functional automation test. You can utilize frameworks as Selenium or written in Playwright or Cypress. It's perfectly fine. You can use any of your automation framework. The test specific code that you are utilizing to run your functional automation test remains as it is. There is no need for you to make any changes, any code specific changes within your functional test. The only thing that is needed here is the SDK integration, which is basically a kind of dependency that you would need to add within your particular project to just run your particular test cases on BrowserStack infrastructure. Once you have the SDK integration done, you'll have the capability to pass in browser stack specific configuration via a YML file. The YML file is also quite intuitive. We have documentation available on how you can add in multiple different parameters within the YML file. The one parameter that we'll be focusing here is the accessibility and the screen reader automation. So the first thing that you do is just pass in the accessibility flag, set it to true so that the test knows that you would be doing or you would be performing accessibility checks as part of your execution. But along with that, we have accessibility options available here as well. I have just mentioned the screen reader automation report option where I'll be using this execution to not only generate accessibility issues, but also generate screen reader output as well. But there are multiple different options that are available here. You also have an option to pass in WCAG guidelines as well. So if you want to test out issues, accessibility issues pertaining to a certain WCAG standard, there are flags available here that you can pass in to get that particular information available. Now, for our particular use case, which is the screen reader automation, you just pass in the screen reader automation report, set it to true. That's it. You just run your test execution command, and you would be getting accessibility reports generated along with the screen reader reports as well. So I'll just go to the dashboard and I'll showcase you an execution which I've previously performed. So your automation execution would look like this. So this is our automation dashboard that we have. Details regarding your test execution, your functional automation test execution will be available here. You'd be able to see details regarding the execution, all the relevant logs that are there. But the focus here is specifically regarding accessibility. So once you move to the to our accessibility tool, you would get details regarding the accessibility reports that are generated. These are specific accessibility reports that convey you details regarding any WCAG violations that are there. Here you'll be able to see all the different issues, all the different tests that were executed, all details regarding all the different issues that are there for all the different screens that the automation test case ran. But since we have enabled screen reader automation as well, you can navigate to the screen reader automation tab, open up a particular report, and you should be able to get an overview of specific screen reader issues, accessibility specific issues that are there, along with the output. For any page that it has captured or the automation has ran, for an individual page, you'll get details like this. So as you can see here, my automation execution that was performed scanned 3 different screens. You see it is highlighting all the different elements that are there, along with details regarding what those particular screen reader output is. You can also go forward and so as an example, let me just select a particular element and you'd see details regarding all the element properties that are there. You can also click on the spoken output option. And you'll get
search Wikipedia, double tap to activate.
And you would I'm hoping that you were able to hear the screen reader output, but if not, yeah, you would be able to basically hear what the screen reader output is for each and every element that is present within your particular mobile application. This functionality is available for both Android and iOS. So yeah, you can test it out for both your Android as well as iOS applications. There are options for you to share this reports publicly shared for your debugging purposes. Yeah, that's it from my end. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you, Sujay.
Rohit, you are not audible.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Rohit, we seem to have lost you.
Yeah, can.
Okay, I hope now I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay, great. So sorry about that, folks. Folks, thank you so much for that lovely demo, Sujay, and just explaining how screener automation is a game changer in this space, and this also allows all you attendees to have a look at how we are innovating in this space, and how we are trying to really push the envelope, understand what the digital accessibility space requires in today's day and age, and try and make solutions that fit well into the SDLC powered by AI. We're striving to reach there. We're striving to always learn from all of you and get there. I think now comes the time wherein we would love to maybe just open up a quick poll question. I'm assuming that's what's on the cards, and the poll question is, what would be the most important criteria when evaluating accessibility tools for all of you folks, right? And this is a general question for us to kind of understand and learn from all of you that, how do you look at this? Because we have specialists who come and tell us that we understand WCAG guidelines and coverage, but we want to actually go maybe a few steps beyond that and actually see how our users interact with our platform. And do join our Discord community. It's a pretty active community. You can connect, learn, and grow with your fellow testers and developers. It's a fun place to be. And last but not the least, would love to understand how you've been using BrowserStack and whether it has been helpful. Your reviews allow us to reach more folks and help more folks to test for the worldwide internet. And now I think with the AI agentic workflows that are coming up or already being used, if you have any suggestions for what's the biggest testing topic or pain point you would like our upcoming webinars to focus on, we have a few suggestions that we have put out there to put in your answers, and we'll try to pick them up. Thank you so much, folks, for giving us 1 hour of your valuable time. And I wish you all a lovely day ahead. And hopefully we meet in one of these forums or on a one-on-one call. Thank you so much, folks.